Let's talk about decentralized banking. I think that is what cryptocurrencies are promising. What does that mean?
What does that mean in a real world sense? Is the idea behind decentralized finance, decentralized banking, is to put more power in the hands of you and I, people out there who want to have more control over our finances, over our savings, over our transactions, over all that. This has come about in the last about 5 years, and it's accelerating now. Why? Because the internet is probably the best example of decentralized anything ever. It's not run by any one government. It's not run by any one company. It's not controlled by anything.
True.
So the idea is, with the power of the internet, to give us more power, put more power in our hands and take it away from places like the big banks, for example. That's the theory.
All right. So we've got decentralized banking now, or at least in theory. So for somebody like me, I think what this means, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that I can look at my bank, I can look at my business account, and I can look at my personal account, and I can see, okay, they're going to charge me X fee for doing a thing. So I can say, do I want to pay that fee? Or I can say, do I want to put it in Bitcoin and get around that fee? Is that what that means for me?
Sort of. So if you trade in and out of Bitcoin, for example, or here's actually a real world example. Those Visa and MasterCard Bitcoin or cryptocurrency backed credit cards I was talking about.
Right.
You still have to pay a fee on those.
Okay.
Those fees don't go to necessarily the banks, the big banks, but they go to, I think it's like a 2% fee on Visas. MasterCards are about the same. And then American Express has a slightly higher swipe fee. It's called a swipe fee. You still have to pay those fees. So it's not a way to get out of fees per se. That's not part of the promise. The main promise is, along with the decentralized part and putting more power in our hands, is that it would be backed by the blockchain, which the blockchain, I'm not going to get super nerdy.
Oh, we're going to get into that in a minute, because I actually heard about that as well. We'll get into there. We're going to dive into that.
Okay, perfect. I'll just do the short example here. So the blockchain will essentially be able to track and encrypt every single transaction that you make. So again, let's say you have water, and I want to sell this to Charlene. If this was encoded on the blockchain, it would notice that transaction and keep a ledger of that transaction. That I learned this phrasing from one of the investment newsletters I used to write for. It would keep track of that transaction on the ledger. So no matter how many times it's transacted, you will be able to keep a record of that. Why is that important? Because then that can help you eliminate fraud. It can help you find out if you've been stolen from, who stole it from you. Again, that's the theory of the blockchain.
Okay. And while we're on this, so I will reiterate that with a simplistic statement. What you just said there was, in theory, with cryptocurrencies, transactions will be a lot more secure, because we can actually track the entire life of the product that's tied to that transaction. Correct? That's
Correct.
what you're saying? Okay.
Correct.